XJ, CJ, XJ. What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today's video, we are taking our latest project on its maiden voyage. In the last video, we got this thing running, got it to idle nicely. Then we just took it for a short drive to the car wash and back. But now, today, we're taking a little bit longer of a drive, about 30 miles actually to my dad's house. And what that's going to do, it's going to show us any flaws that the motor might have. We'll be shifting through gears. It'll be running a lot longer. It'll be able to get up to temperature and everything like that. So it'll give us a much better idea about how mechanically sound the engine actually is. So first things first, I'm going to check the oil now that the engine is cool, just to see if that's fluctuated at all. Then put some air in the tires, because it is still at 15 pounds from when we went off-roading. So let's get to it. Engine oil checked out to be good. Just added some power steering and coolant. So that's all good under there. So let's get these tires aired up. All right, we are good to go. Let's roll. Now, as we're leaving, I think to myself, does the heat work? Do my turn signals work? Am I going to get pulled over? I guess we're going to learn today. Alright guys, we're about there. Just a few observations I made. For one of the bulbs is burnt out there in the gauge cluster. Second, this thing pulls pretty freaking hard left when I brake, so that will have to be addressed. And also, there is a lot of noise coming into this cab, and I mean, not necessarily from the engine. The engine actually sounds fine, and it's shifting smooth and all like that, but I don't know if it's a driveline vibration or wheel bearings or what, but this thing is making some noise. I'll show you guys when we get a green light here. See, it does sound like it's coming right from the transmission tunnel, but I don't know, I'm skeptical because it is shifting really smooth and nice. But yeah, we're almost there. I hope we make it. You know, come to think of it, I don't think I've ever had this thing out of second gear, because I pretty much brought it home, did all the off-road work, and then we went right to the trail. And you don't get, too fast on the trail, so I don't know, maybe it was always loud in the cab. It's just loud in here. So we're definitely going to get this thing jacked up, check out the wheel bearings, check out our driveline angles and all that good stuff. But other than that, it's actually doing really good. I don't have oil pressure or water temp gauges working right now, but those are pretty easy to replace. Yeah, like I said, other than that, it's running pretty good. And I'm overall pleased with how it's doing. We got some daylight now. We're gonna head to the parts store, grab some seafoam, grab some engine oil for the oil change then. So I feel like I'm gonna forget something there. I feel like I need something else, but yeah, we'll see when we get there. So let's, oh yeah, to the floor. All right guys, I don't know why this thing isn't starting. Well, usually when you have crank, no start, one of three things: fuel, air, or spark, because that's the three things need to start an engine. So we're gonna see if we can diagnose something here, because I don't know why I just brought it up front here to park it by the street, and now it just cut out on me. So see if we can figure something out. All right, it's easiest to test air and fuel before spark, so we'll do those first. Air, obviously we have air because the throttle is actually opening the throttle body, so we are getting air. Next is testing for fuel and see if fuel is getting up to the fuel rail, and there's a little Schrader valve here on the fuel rail, so if we get, all right, yeah, so we got fuel coming out of there, so we're getting fuel up to the fuel rail. So that makes me think it's definitely going to be something with the spark. So let me get my circuit tester and we'll test for spark over there. So first we'll see if we're getting spark up to the spark plugs themselves, and then we'll just trace it back from there. So I pulled one of the spark plug wires there, so we'll just get our circuit tester, hook it up to the negative on your battery. Go ahead. Now we'll, from the coil, trace it up to the distributor and see if we're getting spark out of the distributor. Oh, I'm sorry, getting spark out of the coil. So that's the plug coming out of the coil. Again. So we're not getting spark out of the coil at all. Now there's a plug going into your ignition coil right there. So we're gonna make sure we're actually getting power up to that point. So let me take off this plug. So while he's cranking it, I'm gonna test each one of them leads. One of them is ground and one of them is power. So one of them should be lighting up while he's cranking. Go ahead. So we're getting power up to the coil, just not getting spark. So with my past Jeep experiences, if we're not getting spark and all the ignition stuff, if we're getting power up to the coil but not getting spark, that 9 times out of 10 is the crank position sensor, which is a sensor right on top of the bell housing, plugs in right there, and I'm thinking that's what we're gonna have to replace here. That's usually what it is. That's what it's been in my past experience. And what happens when the crank position sensor goes bad, it cuts all spark to the engine. So I'm thinking we're gonna have to go get one of them. So let's head to the store real quick and pick up a sensor. All right guys, just got back here. We got our crank position sensor. I also picked up some sea foam. I wanted to do that today anyway. And I also had to run to Harbor Freight and grab some different tools that Dad didn't have here, because all of his tools are up at my shop. So we'll get under the Jeep and we'll get the sensor replaced, see if we crank. All right, so we're under the Jeep here, and this is what you need to get to these crank sensors. They're a pain in the butt. They're at the top of the bell housing. You have to go from the bottom up and just work your way out slowly. Got the old one out there. It actually looks pretty bad and greasy, so I really hope that was our issue. Now the hard part's getting the new one back in and getting those bolts started. And just a comparison, here's the new one. So obviously it looks much better. This one's all covered in grease and crap. So yeah, let's get that one put in. We got it all bolted up down below. Got it plugged in up top. I really hope this is our problem. Let's see what happens. So the crank position sensor was actually fine. That was not our problem. You guys heard it crank after I did it. So I decided to switch some fuses, or not fuses. I checked all the fuses and I switched 2 of the relays, the ASD relay and the fuel pump relay. I switched them and it fired right up. So that relay was just bad. So now this is the bad relay right now on the fuel pump socket here. So I'm gonna go get a new relay because now it's not getting fuel. But learn from my mistakes here, guys. Just check your fuses and relays really quick if you're having a crank no start issue on your Jeep. All right, got that new relay in. So now we should be getting fuel and everything. Other than that, guys, I know the main point of this video was to like get this thing out here driving, which it did. Now we have to drive back and it should be fine. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'll have to check out the wheel bearings and everything like that, where all that noise is coming from. But yeah, that can be another video. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, you like the content, please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.